We're a month into the fall sports season and things are heating up. I mean, really heating up. It's about 1,000 degrees on campus, but there's no time to cool down now. My name is Ethan Plotkin and you're tuned in to episode 3 of the Continental Countdown. The Hamilton men's soccer team has lost 2 straight games despite only conceding 1 goal in each. The first of the losses came at the hands of the formidable Panthers of Middlebury, who the Continentals beat in overtime at last year's NESCAC tournament semifinals. This past Saturday, September 23rd, playing in blistering 90-degree heat, the lads suffered an equally frustrating loss to the Connecticut College Camels, who remain undefeated with their victory and are likely to end up in the upcoming national ranks published this week. On the sunny side of things, and there's been a lot of sun, the Continentals were victorious against the Trinity Bantams the week before in yet another low-scoring affair. Freshman, and let me get this pronunciation right, Hagop Kuchagjian scored his first career goal and was Hamilton's lone scorer in the game. After an extensive 5-game road trip, the lads will return to Love Field to take on Wesleyan on September the 30th and Tufts on November the 1st. Field Hockey's been playing away from home for the past 4 games as well, finishing their road trip at an even 500. They defeated 12th ranked Trinity in New Hartford on Saturday the 16th and number 5 ranked Middlebury the following day. Sophomore Michaela Jatari continued her stellar play against Trinity, netting 2 goals and increasing her goal total to 7 for the season. That's 7 with an S in 6 games. Not to be outdone, however, junior forward Tatiana Bradley netted 2 goals of her own against Middlebury, her first and second of the season. The Continentals ended the road trip in disappointing fashion, losing to Conn College in New London. The Camels' sole goal came only 47 seconds into the game and would be enough to seal the game, despite Hamilton's 17-2 shot advantage. Hamilton's football team was handily defeated this past Saturday at Steuben Field by the Amherst Mammoths by a score of 36-6. We'll put that one in the rear view. The week before, however, playing Tufts in their season opener in Medford, Mass., Hamilton made a major splash. Though they would ultimately lose by a touchdown, the Continentals took the Jumbos, a team which finished second in the NESCAC standings last year, into a thrilling overtime period. Junior Tyler Hudson recovered a fumble and tallied 19 tackles in the game, the most by a Hamilton player since 2011. For the record, Hudson had 12 tackles against Amherst. The kid's a beast. I call him Jack the River because he's a monster, and his last name is Hudson. It's kind of like Jack the Ripper, but never mind. Sophomore wide receiver Joe Schmidt was stellar against Tufts as well. He caught 8 passes for 214 yards and was on the receiving end of all 4 of Hamilton's touchdowns. The men returned to action against Wesleyan at Steuben Field on Saturday the 30th. By the way, if you're ever near Tufts and happen to drive through Davis Square in Somerville, make sure to stop by Red Bones Barbecue. Tell them Ethan sent you. They won't know who I am, but you can tell them anyways. I don't care. The women's volleyball team has played 20 sets in their past 5 matches, finishing the 10-day stretch of play with a record of 3 wins and 2 losses. That puts their record for the season at 5-3. Of their in-conference matches, the women defeated Connecticut College and Williams, but lost to Wesleyan Cardinals, who were undefeated at the time. Senior captain Christine Zizzi continues to excite in her role as defensive specialist, tallying 25 digs in 5 sets against Williams and 29 digs in only 4 sets against Conn College. I definitely dig that. Conference play continues this weekend against Tufts at Tufts and Bowdoin at Bowdoin. Men's golf has been playing 2 tournaments. They played first at Middlebury and then...
Thanks, Evan. It's now time for everyone's soon-to-be favorite feature of the Continental Countdown, the Tim Hortons International Spotlight Feature of the Week. Hopefully soon sponsored by Tim Hortons because, boy, do I ever miss that coffee. This week's International Spotlight Performance of the Week belongs to Winda, who brought her talent to upstate New York all the way from Thailand. Winda shot 82 in consecutive tournaments, finishing a strong 22nd and 29th place in the women's bracket, helping Hamilton to 6th and 8th place finishes. Very impressive. Now, moving on to some quick hit international bits from up north. First, a quick update on the Canadian Curling Championship, as I'm sure many of you, just like myself, are preparing your fantasy teams for the upcoming weekend. Men's and women's teams have been battling through the current season and are currently prepping for Olympic trials. Brad Gushu and his team, perennial favorites, have slid their way to a sizable lead in the Canadian team ranking system, while good Ontario gal Rachel Holman is leading the charge on the women's side. What a race this is going to be down the stretch. Finally, we're going to end with our Harvey's Burgers hockey highlights. NHL training camps have officially fired back up, and that means 36 million people north of the border finally have something to look forward to on Saturday night again. In New York-related news, it appears the Rangers are off to a great start at again being a wildly mediocre hockey team, while the Islanders' goal this upcoming season is still to establish that they are in fact a part of the National Hockey League. Back to you, Evan.
Evan. Our names are 2 letters apart. And you're barging in here talking about curling and hockey. It's still 90 degrees outside. I don't know what is
You're always on me. Concentrate on what you're doing and let the professionals do their work.
I was in the middle of something.
You're always in the middle of something.
Get on out of here. Get on it. This is my show.
Yeah, okay, Evan.
Anyways, junior golfer and man whose first and last name could easily be swapped, Jeremy Benjamin, led the way for the Continentals in Middlebury's Duke Nelson Invitational on September 16th and 17th, posting scores of 74 and 77. The men would finish 14th out of 22 teams in that tournament. The following weekend at Williams Taconic Golf Course, the men finished 10th out of 19 teams, led by senior captain Joe Tigani, who posted a 2-day score of 150 and finished in 12th among individual competitors. Women's soccer defeated Sage College at Sage this past Sunday thanks to goals by 2 freshmen, Kat Gambino and Sydney Kim. Unfortunately, the win came the day after a 1-0 loss to Connecticut College, now ranked number 20 in the most recent national poll. With the win and the loss over the weekend, the women are now 3-3-1 and will take on Wesleyan on Friday, September 29th at home. The late, great Muhammad Ali once said, "You can't win unless you learn how to lose." Well, I've got some good news and bad news. The bad news, as you know, Hamilton sports didn't fare too well this past weekend. The good news, if Ali is right, I'll tell you the good news next week. In the meantime, you can follow Hamilton Athletics on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, and follow along live on game day at nsnsports.net. We'll see you back here in a couple weeks with more to discuss and some more tallies in the W column, as Muhammad Ali promised. My name is Ethan Plotkin, and thank you for tuning into this episode of the Continental Countdown. Ian Nichols, you're not welcome back here, man. Fried pickles are great. You ever had a grilled watermelon salad? I get my haircut there. My melon. I'm so sorry, man. They're heating up. I mean, really heating up. It's way too fast on the teleprompter. I can't read a thing. Holy.